Hello and welcome. So today what we will do is we will learn about how can we actually share files from one machine to another machine and how can we configure different permissions for it. So today we will learn how can we do sharing between two machines, and then in our next video what we will do is we will learn how can we set up a file server for our San Francisco office. So basically we will see what are the difference what is the difference between setting up a file server or using like each machine individually to share files. So we will learn about sharing files, and before I even start, you may ask or you may have a question in mind that why do we share file? What is the concept behind sharing the file to each other? So one of the important thing to understand is most of the times when you are working in an office and you want another user to access the files, let me bring up Microsoft Paint where I can basically describe what I am trying to say. So in here, let's just say that I have a user in San Francisco, I have another user in Virginia, I have another user in Sacramento, I have another user in Canada, and what we want to do is we want all of these users, all of these computers to access a file that we have here. So basically, if we want them to access the file, what we can do is we can set up sharing. So once we set up sharing, what will happen is that these computers that we have here, they will be able to access those files from here. If you set up sharing here, and then you can give permission to them. For example, there is a share here called finance, and you want this computer to access it, so you basically share it and give this computer access to it. Same thing you can do here, same thing you can do here. So basically the purpose of sharing files is to basically share information between the specific computers or specific users that you want. So sharing today, sharing files is used a lot everywhere you go, every office you go. They basically share HR documents, finance documents, accounting documents, and they share it between their department, they share it between employees so that they have one central location to access those files, right? So they have one central location to access those files, and that central location is the file server. Before we learn about file server, let's just see how this file sharing works if we don't have any file server. So what we will simply do is we will come into our domain controller, and in here we will try to create some files, and then we will see how can we share and how can we give permissions to other users. So in this example, what will I do is I will simply go and create a folder here. So I will create a folder here, call it accounting files, right? And inside this folder, what I will do is I will go and create um, some files, correct? I will go and create some files. Now, this is one of the folders that I want to share with Kawa and with Zia. Okay, I want to share this file with Kawa and Zia. Kawa is in accounting department and Zia is also in accounting department. So now what will I do is I will simply right click on it and go into the properties of the folder, and you will see a tab called here sharing. You click on sharing and you can click on share. Once you click on share, it is telling me type a name and then click add. Okay, so basically, who do we want to give access? We want to give access to who? Zia and Kawa. Okay, Kawa cannot be found. What was his username? His username was s.kawa, if you remember. Alright, once it is added, now it is telling me that what kind of sharing you want to do. You want to give him read permission or read write permission. So let's test them both. I will say Zia should have read write sharing permission. Kawa should only have read permission. Click on share, click on done. You are done. So this is another option if you want to use, called advanced sharing. Advanced sharing is basically giving you more features, more options to share. For example, if I say share this folder, this folder is called what? Accounting files, right? This folder is called what? Accounting files. But I don't want to call this share as accounting files. I want to call it accounting files for Zia and Kawa. Right? I can do that. I can click on apply. Now my folder is not changed. You see, it is still accounting files, but my share name is different. My share name is accounting files for Zia and Kawa. Okay, it is called for Zia and Kawa. Limit the number of simultaneous users. How many users can access this folder at the same time? 16,000 something something. It's more than 16,000. If I make it 1, if I make it 1, now when Zia is accessing it, Kawa will not be able to access it. If Kawa is accessing it, Zia will not be able to access it. So I will put it to 100. 100 is good. So we basically don't do that all the time. So another thing that we have is permissions. Permissions, what level of permission do we want to grant? If you want to add, so if you remember, I already added Kawa and Zia here. So I don't need to add them again in here. But if you are configuring it through here, you can also add it. If you remember, we already added them, so we don't have to add them there again. Once you are done with sharing permission, the next tab is called security. One is sharing, one is security. Sharing tab is used to enable sharing. How do we enable sharing? Through sharing tab. So if we want to configure permissions, we do it through security. Now you can see that Zia and Kawa is already added. Here we have more options. You see, modify, read, execute, read, write. If you click on edit, you can see that, okay, Kawa is able to read, execute, list, read. That's it. Kawa is not able to write. Right? Kawa, how about Zia? Zia is able to have full permissions. Why? Because we said he should be able to read and write. That's why he got more permissions. I will click on close. Now I will go here and I will log in with s.kawa, and we will see how that permissions are going to work with us. How is it going to work? So let's just see that. Now I am in here. So how do I access this file? How do I access this file? So what is the IP of this server? Let's first see what is the IP. I think it's 10.10.10.10. Okay, good. So how do we access it? We click on your Windows machine. You can click on start and type backslash backslash 10.10.10.10, right? You put backslash backslash an IP address of the machine where you have the shares. Press enter. Accounting files for Zia and Kawa. See? Accounting files for Zia and Kawa. All the files here. All the files here. Can. We can also do it by name. KT SFO DC01. See? Now we have everything here. Kawa permission was what? Read write or read? Let's test it. When I open this file, now see, I want to add something. Save. It is not doing it for me. It is. Let me try that again. Don't save. Double click. Let's add something. File. Save. Save. See, you do not have permission to open this file. See the owner of the file or administrator to obtain permission. Why? Because Kawa only have read permission. Okay, I don't have permission, don't save. What if Kawa tries to create new file? Try again. You don't have permission. Please let me do it. Let me do it. Not letting you do it because you don't have permission, right? Now let's go to Zia. Let's go and log in as Zia. Zia got read write permission. Zia got read write permission. So we will test it with Zia and see what will happen when we try to open it with Zia's account. Alright, so now start menu backslash backslash KTSFO DC01. Accounting files for Kawa Zia. I will open this file. Save. Save. You do not have permission to open this file. Okay, so this is Zia. Zia doesn't have permission. Let's see why. What if I try to create? Oh, Zia also don't have permission. Let's fix it. Why? What can be the problem? If we go back here, we go to properties, we go to security, we click on edit, we click on Zia. Zia have full permission. Why? You know why? Because Zia only have permission to this folder, but not the files that are inside maybe. So you see when I click on advanced, this option, advanced will give us more permissions. In here you see I have this option called replace all child object permission entries with inheritance permission. So what does it basically mean? Whatever permission we have in the main folder, it will basically do what? It will apply it on the others. If I go here and try to refresh, if you right click, you can if you ask me, hey, how can I check permissions on this file? You can right click, click on properties, click on security, you can click here. You see Zia. Zia got full permission where? On this file. So let's try again. Save. Okay, so not working again. Let's see. Let's go back to sharing. It can be problem with the sharing. If I click on share, you have read write permission. But what if I click on advanced and I click on permissions, and you can see that everyone is read only. Everyone is read only. Looks like there is like a mismatch because we enabled it here, we enabled it here. That's why it's giving that problem. But if I come here and try to add Zia and Kawa, s.kawa. Okay, for Zia full permission, for Kawa read. Apply, okay, okay, close. And we don't save this. We try to access it again. Let's try this time. Click on save. Done. You see, working. Why? Because in here, what was happening, that in the sharing, you either have to do it here or you have to do it here. So in advance, before, everyone was set to read only. So we added Zia and Kawa and give them permission for sharing. So that is important. So now you can see that Zia added something here. Save. And if Zia tries to create a new file, he can. See. Now, if you come back here, see all the changes that Zia made is here. Everything is in here. So that's how you can do simple sharing. That's how you can do simple sharing for the files. Right? That's how you can do sharing for the simple files. Now if you ask me, hey Parvis, do I have to type every time I want to access? Like every time I want to access, I have to type ktsfo dc01. That is a lot of work, right? Every time you want to access the file, you have to type. There is one way. If you go here in the file explorer, from here, you see from here, file explorer, if you right click on my computer, you have this option called map network drive. Map network drive. So in here you say ktsfodc01 and what was the name, accounting files. Press OK, press finish. Now when you come to this PC, you see you have like a drive. So this is called network drive. You see I have a network drive here. So that's how you can basically do it. Now every time Zia when logs in, when he goes to his computer, this PC, he will see this and he is able to work. So that's how you can map a network drive. If you want to disconnect, you can say disconnect. You can do that. Whenever the server is not available, it will disconnect. So it needs to be connected. That's why you have this option. I will not do that right now. Correct? So this is how you can do simple sharing, and this is how you can map a network drive.